I'm Steve, this is Fran. Today we're talking about energy sufficient appliances, how you can save the most money with appliances.
Okay, so jump right into it. What is the #1 best appliance you can get rid of or change to save money in your home?
I try to respond to all the comments on YouTube, and I always love the one, my fridge is in the basement for 35 years. It's holding like 2 6-packs. The old non-Energy Star refrigerators were hogs. I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably cost, I'm like, hey, congratulations. It's cost you $500 to store that 6-pack. I hope it's good beer.
It's to the point that the electric companies now sometimes will reach out to you and they'll pay you to come get rid of that refrigerator.
Yeah, that's the best thing you can do. Get rid of any old refrigerator. I'm not one for replacing a perfectly good one in your kitchen, but there is going to be a tremendous cost savings on getting a new one versus don't one. Like at one time, like a 48-inch Sub-Zero uses less power than a 75-watt bulb. I mean, that was like 10 years ago. Goodness knows what it is now. The downside is everyone says, refrigerators don't last as long. That may or may not be true. I think there's been some compressor issues, but I think they're overblown. But the energy story on these things is massive versus old refrigerator. You don't need the old one, unplug it. If you need it for a party, plug it back in. But if you don't, get rid of it.
Yep.
That's the best thing you can do.
There you go. Let's talk dishwashers. Anything you can do with dishwashers?
The old ones have elements, then some of the new ones have elements, but I'm never going to advocate, changing a dishwasher out to like ones that don't, that just use regular condensation dry or even a Milo, which lets air in, which is intelligent. I don't think you get a return on your investment by buying a new dishwasher.
Not as quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. 10 years. I'll be retired in 10 years. So yeah, but no, I don't think dishwashers is a category where you're going to save massive amounts of money. You certainly save something, especially with the drying techniques.
Yeah, less water that they use now, for sure.
And in our state, Massachusetts, every little bit helps, but there's no massive savings here.
All right, laundry. Let's talk washers and dryers.
Massive savings. The difference between a top load and a front load of similar size is, in the state of Mass, is $241. Now, why? It's because one is going to spin out at 1,300 RPM, the other at 850, and the appliance that is the biggest energy hog, other than that fridge we talked about, is the dryer. Dryer uses more energy than anything but your HVAC, right? So the less time you can put in your dryer, the more overall savings you're going to get.
Yeah, I'm really even to the washer. Like if you have one of those old school top load washers, I mean, those are using significantly more water than anything today.
Once they advertise now, that G commercial, you can go up to 70 gallons. They talk about water saturation, but they don't talk about how much it costs to wring that stuff out in a dryer, and it is considerable. So really, just be careful about I know everyone's, top load Speed Queen fans, the G commercial we've been successful with, but you're going to spend a lot of money per load getting that thing dry. That's something to consider in our state and other high energy utility states. Now that we're on the subject of dryers, heat pump, right? Now heat pump is new, but it's been around forever. But it's new for 1998, I think Electrolux did. It is a world of difference between a heat pump and a regular electric or gas, depending. I mean, so much so it's startling. And I think it's like 10 cents a load versus like 60 cents a load for electric. And over time, that's going to add up. So really a washer dry. But the downside to heat pumps is they work in compacts. On the bigger ones, I'm not so sure. There's only a few of them out there.
Yeah, there's only really a couple. Like LG had one, Whirlpool. I think that's going to get better and better, and you'll definitely see more of them coming in the full-size space. But when it comes to compact, I mean, that is really what you're getting. There's certainly ones that aren't, but you definitely should be spending the money to get heat pump in compact. And really, like with heat pump, like you said, like there's no wasted energy. Like with a vented dryer, you're just taking all that, you're constantly heating and throwing it out the window, throwing it out the door.
Yeah, it's electric elements, which is the same thing as what you do when you dry your hair. You put on a hair dryer, which is probably not the most efficient thing. The only problem with the heat pump is it's kind of a reverse refrigeration system.
Yep.
So our industry has problems servicing the regular 1920s element. I can only imagine what a heat pump repair must look like in states where dealers don't service what they sell. It's crazy.
Absolutely. Right? And then with cooking, What do you think there? Any way to really save on cooking?
Induction is 90% efficient. Gas is 60% efficient. However, to go from one to the other is like $3,500 because now you're using more amperage. So I imagine the cost per time you cook is more with induction than it is with gas. I don't see a lot of savings there. I do think between unplugging your fridge, getting the right washer and dryer, there's plenty. I mean, in the state of Mass, if you're smart, you could probably save more than $1,000 a year, if not plenty more, depending on whether you can do a heat pump dryer or not. But I don't see that. I see kind of like it's more efficient, but uses more amps. I think the two kind of cancel each other out.
You can certainly save some time with induction. Money might take a little bit
And
longer to get
safer,
there.
easier
Right.
to clean. It's easier to vent. You don't have, the one thing you can't calculate is there's so much heat that gets lost, when you do gas. 40% of that goes out. So, your kitchen won't get as hot, which means your HVAC, the most expensive thing.
Yeah,
But I couldn't find I couldn't calculate that.
absolutely. Some ancillary benefits there for sure.
So maybe induction, because you're not turning on your HVAC system if you're cooking that much with a high-powered stove. Fridge, washer, dryer is really where it's at. That's it. If you like this kind of content, hit the like and subscribe to learn more.